Hi class, um, welcome to my video about your next project. This is project 2. It's week 6 that it is due, so that's the end of this week by Sunday. You'll notice that you don't have peer responses this week. I'm trying to help you with your workload to reduce that in those situations. One of the things that you are going to be doing this week is looking for online best practices. I want you to find 5 to 7 best practices and then explain those in detail. Now, some of the best practices might be listed under a bigger category, like communication, for example. You might have some best practices for communication. If you're doing a slide for that, you may want to have the title communication and then have the best practices listed under it. In your notes, you'll go into detail of how each of those best practices would work. So you probably are not going to need a bunch of slides to cover this. You're just going to need the slides that will address either the category, or if a best practice is in and of itself a category, you can use that on one slide. Put some bullets there. Remember that 80% of what we're going to be judging you on is going to be on how well you do this presentation. It's really important. This is a technology class, so I want to see you doing a good job on these PowerPoints. There's lots of videos on YouTube about how to do good PowerPoints. Remember the 6x6 rule. You never want to have more than 6 bullets, and no bullet should ever have more than 6 words. Those are recommendations, but really you do want to use the bullets very smartly, because your speaker's notes is where you're going to actually put the content. So that's where you're going to explain what is being said in the PowerPoint, or what's being shown on the PowerPoint. Now, I would love it if you could make this into a voiceover PowerPoint. Then you don't need speaker's notes. Do a voiceover PowerPoint, make sure you have references at the end, and upload that to YouTube. And then send me a link with a copy of the slides that don't have any voice on them. So make your slides, save them as a separate file, and then record your voice over PowerPoint if you want to record it directly on the slides. There are other ways to do it too. You could do a screencast-o-matic that's free for up to 15 minutes. So I'm thinking, 2 to 3 minutes per slide. That's 10 minutes to 15 minutes, so you should be able to do that on a screencast-o-matic as well, if that's what you'd like to use. But investigate these technologies and find a way that you can integrate them in. If you're just doing a PowerPoint and you're just going to submit it, that's fine. What I want you to do is make sure that you include some graphics in there. You may even want to put a link to a YouTube video for each practice. This is going to be for your benefit, but I'm also going to share these with the class if you give me permission to do that. And when I do that, then I'll be able to give these ideas out to people. That's really what I want to do, is to share these ideas. So really, if you can add media to it, if you can embed a video, if you can embed just a link to a video, work with that. Try to do the best you can to make this fun. I noticed that one of you in your discussion board said it didn't seem like there was any fun assignments in this class. Well, I want this assignment to be fun. Think of it that way. I'm not going to be looking at so much the exactities of APA and things like that. If you're going to do citations, if you're going to do speaker notes, then I expect citations in there. But again, what I'm really looking for is to have fun with this, to try to be creative as much as you can. Some of you aren't creative. That's fine. I understand that. I'm not the most creative person in the world. But hey, do what you can do. If you want to do just a straight video where you're talking without any PowerPoints, you can do that as well. But it'd be nice if you had some kind of visual aid, like a little, something you could hold up that would also help in your explanation of these best practices. Have fun with it. That's the main bottom line here. And if you have questions, you can Skype me. I'll be on Skype up until Wednesday, and then I'm going to be off online for a few days. But I will still get emails, so email me with your questions. I'll be glad to answer them. You can post in the question and answer box. I do have a subscription to that, so I'm subscribed to it, so I get your updates whenever you post there. That's good if you want to post something that you think the whole class might benefit from getting the answer to. But if it's just something that's particular to yourself, you can just email me that, and I will be glad to get back with you as soon as possible on that. I've read through your discussion boards for week 5. I do want to say, and this is true for any assignment you have in this class, I don't know if I've told you this or not before, but it's a big pet peeve of mine. You need to have headings in your work. And even if you just use the question itself as your heading, it really helps to break up the paper, break up the discussion board post. It makes it more readable, and I'm really big on that. It's part of what I grade you for when I grade organization is how well did you organize that post? Are you using headings? 2 of your peers really did a great job with headings. Actually, 3 of your peers did a great job with headings in week 5. So you want to look for those and see, when you look at those, when you see your peers post and you say, wow, this is a really good, well-organized post, try to pick up tips from that and use that in your own work. I'm going to be getting more and more grady on that because my eyes get tireder and tireder from reading, and eventually I'm like, okay, there's no headings, this is just crazy. So get some headings into your work. APA is really easy with headings. The main headings are centered and bold, and the subheadings are left justified and bold. It's as simple as that. If you don't know if something should be a big heading or a small heading, then you're welcome to ask me, obviously. But there's really no set rule. The subheadings tend to be something that could be covered under the larger heading. So, that's typically the way things are organized when it comes to that. You really don't need to use any of the other headings in APA. Those go into minute detail. Your papers are probably not going to ever be long enough that you need more than just a heading and a subheading. So keep that in mind. It will really be helpful for me as your professor and for you as the writer to help you organize your work. I often see students missing things in their assignments because they didn't have a heading for the thing that I'm specifically looking for, and so they missed it and they didn't put it in their paper, and then they lose needless points, and you never want to lose needless points. Okay, I think that's everything. It's kind of a rambling video. We're going to do a live class, I promise, next couple weeks, and that'll give you time to kind of meet each other in person, talk online. It's probably going to be a Wednesday from 5:30 to 6:30 is what I'm thinking now. It seems to be a lot of people are sending me emails telling me that that's the best time for them. So we'll probably work on doing that. That way everyone can attend that wants to. You don't have to. You won't be required to. Okay, so if anything comes up, again, I'm on Skype. I sent my Skype address. It was in my instructor faculty information, but I made it more clear in the announcements, and as well as I'm going to be available on email, so you can always email me. And if you want to talk on the phone, if you need to just chat, we can chat as well. You'll just need to email me so we can set up an appointment so I can be able to call you. Typically I don't answer calls when I don't know who's calling, so if I'm not aware that you're going to be calling me, I typically won't answer the phone, so you want to make sure you let me know that you're going to be calling. And that's it. This is a really long video now. For those of you who watched the whole thing, congratulations. I'm very proud of you. And we can talk more if you have any questions. I think I've said that 5 times now. All right, this is it. I'm going to stop recording. Bye.